One thing I have noticed too with the negative 18s is if you get a road that's pretty rutted out, it will, you know, try to follow those ruts. Not terribly, but you do feel it a little tiny bit in the wheel. But on the highway, everything is really good, no problems whatsoever. So there is the choice. Are you going to go with the girth? Are you going to go with the width? A lot of guys do like the 14 wides. Guys will even go with like a 33-inch tire, so less tire, wider, rubber bands, you know, big dish, all that kind of stuff. There is that look. I'm not really into that. That's not, I mean, it looks cool on other people's builds, but it's not really something I want to live with. I really hate rubbing, and those things, you know those things rub like crazy. If you turn them over a little bit too far one direction or the other, they have to hit the fenders, and I do not want that whatsoever. What little bit this does rub bothers me, and I thought with the 3.5-inch lift that would go away, but we're still touching that mud flap slightly, so I have a few choices. I can go with a different mud flap, which might be a little less sticking inward, I guess, from what the factory ones are, and I can just keep the wheels that I have with the same size tires, or I can go a little less girthy and maybe a little more tire. So I go with like a 0 offset and it won't be sticking out as much. I can go a little bit higher. Which would you guys rather do on your truck? Would you go wider or would you go higher? There's kind of the happy medium, and without going with a crazy lift, because then you got to do at least like a 6-inch lift and all of that, and no. The big tires sticking out really far, they take out wheel bearings. They're really hard on your ball joints. It's not something I want to do. This truck is like the happy medium for me. This is a 13,000 mile truck. I want to be able to tow with it. I want it to last a long time. You know, I do definitely love the bro trucks, the big crazy 20-30-inch lifts. All that is insane, but that's not going to be this truck. Maybe the next one. Maybe I'll buy one that is already up in the air like that, because the amount of money you got to spend to get a stock truck to that point is absolutely insane, and you don't get that return on investment unless you're a company that uses it for promotion or whatever the reason but behind doing that, or if it's just your passion. You can't put a price on how it makes you feel, and I get that. But this truck in particular, so we have a 22 Platinum. I got it for MSRP, so we're 85,000 bucks out the door, and which is pretty average nowadays. You know, these Platinums go for around 90 and change nowadays. So I'm 85,000 into the truck as it sat at the dealership. And then, well, we did wheels, which was they're cheaper wheels, or TISs, so they're not forged or anything. So I was able to get those for around, I think it was 1,800 bucks, somewhere around that neighborhood. And the tires I actually already had from the Rebels, so those were not an extra cost to me whatsoever. We ended up doing the Starlight. The Starlight was around 1,600 installed, all good to go out the door. We do have the lift kit with the Kings all the way around, with the steering stabilizer, the diff cover, the steering brackets for the stabilizers, all of that, the powder coating, the sway bar links, the traction bars, all those things are pieced together at PMF, so you can build your kit the way you want it. And that was about 10,000 shipped. So it was 500 for shipping, it was 2,000 for the powder coat, and then it was around 8,000 something for everything else. And the Kings are a big part of that because they do cost quite a bit. So yeah, we went all out, and it was around, yeah, the $10,000 mark for that. We got $2,000 in our pushers. I have about 500 in the Banks intake, and probably another 1,000 or so with our mount over here with our gauge and our pedal monster, all of those things. These were all non-sponsored items. I bought all these myself, so no discounts there, unfortunately. But we do have probably, I would say, from start to finish, everything in the truck that I put in. Some things I was able to take from other projects that I had removed from vehicles I got rid of, like the lights in the back and all of that. We got the diff cover. I think that was around $400 or $500, somewhere around that margin. I would say with what I just spent, it was around the $15,000 mark with all the mods that I bought, some of which we haven't put on yet. I did forget to mention when we open the hood, we do have the fleece fuel filter up top, and I do have the one for the bottom as well, so I got to put those on too. So that's included in that $15,000. So we probably have somewhere around 20,000, maybe even a little bit more on top of the 85,000 that I paid for the truck. So we're probably about 105 into this altogether the way it sits today. And I know 105,000 sounds like a lot, but it is a diesel. It is something I've had right from day one. So I've done all the maintenance on it. I know this truck right from the factory. I got a factory warranty with it, which is why we still have emissions on it, all of that. I know it hasn't been ragged on and sled pulled and all those different things. I know other people that have bought diesel trucks and they've had checkered pass. So there is that to consider with that price. By getting that brand new MSRP price point, you do kind of know your truck from day one. So yeah, we do have a little bit of money into the truck. I don't regret any of it. I think it's awesome. This is the truck I always wanted, and I don't have any plans of getting rid of it. If like I said, if I wanted something crazy, something like a big show truck thing, I would probably do like I did with the Dart. And if you guys don't know the story on my 72 Dart, I bought it as a turnkey runner. It definitely needed a little bit of this and that, which most vehicles when you buy them used do, but it had about 30,000 into the car, and I got it for about a third of that. So that's kind of what is true with these trucks as well. So you can probably pick up a truck that has way more money into it than what you're going to pay on the used market. So that to be considered. If you want to go crazy with it, you might want to go around at the SEMA show or any of those places where the guys have had the truck for 3 years and it's time for something new, and you might be able to get a bargain. So overall, I love the way this truck handles now, and you can throw it into corners a lot more, which is really nice because we got a lot of windy roads, and with a big truck, you want to be able to feel like you're nicely composed on the road. You're not getting kind of thrown around or anything like that, and it's not as, I guess, bumpy and rattly like it used to be with just the leaf springs bounce around back there. The traction bars do help a lot tightening that up, but I definitely love the way it rides, and the new Kings are awesome. They look so nice with those rock lights on, and I gotta get a few more night shots of this thing and do a little bit more with our rock light setup and just getting more stuff installed on this truck that I've had planned for a while. I just need to go ahead and get everything put together and make this thing absolute dream truck that I've always wanted. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop in the comments, what do you guys think of our truck so far? What are some things that we should consider? Maybe thinking about a headache rack, possibly. I don't know how it's going to work out with the camera back there, but that was just something that I've had in the back of my mind. So drop in the comments, should I put a headache rack on the Super Duty? I think it would be kind of a rugged addition that we could do a little bit more with some accessories, some other things that I do have planned. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and as always, keep that hammer down.